JJ McCarthy has spoken out on the upcoming quarterback decision for the Minnesota Vikings and has given us some very good details as to what is going to come in this offseason. He also spoke about what the plan is for him and going forward into next season with the Minnesota Vikings. I'll be breaking that all down here in this video. Before we get into it, though, we know that 91% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. If you're looking for a spot to get all of your Minnesota Vikings news, you're in the right spot. Hit the sub button. Join us here on the channel. We are covering everything Minnesota Vikings, and we have a lot of stuff to get here in this video. So let's get straight into it. Starting off with the first kind of a little breakdown bit of quote from JJ McCarthy. He says, as the Vikings front office begins to process the roster evaluation, McCarthy's recent address on his future in the Rich Eisen show, weighing in on his own situation and Darnold's. This is what he had to say. There's a lot of things that are certainly above my pay grade and some things above his pay grade. McCarthy commented, acknowledging the complex nature of roster decisions. Well, this is the beginning of what McCarthy had to say here. A lot of stuff kind of breaking down and going into his contract, his plan, his health, everything here. But as a start, McCarthy's acknowledging that this is not his choice. He's saying that he got to work towards what he wants to, where he wants to be, where he wants to go, and what he wants to do with this team. And, it's a great mindset to have coming into this team, especially after missing your rookie year with an injury. He don't have that pathway. He still has to prove himself, especially the way Sam Darnold played last year. There are still plans to potentially re-sign Sam Darnold, but I don't want to count those out. But it sure does seem like JJ McCarthy is the guy going forward for this team. But if the Vikings find that he's not ready, they're certainly going to look for another quarterback to be able to fill in for him, as well as have a look before the March deadline for the franchise tags, which is going to be another very interesting date that we're going to have to keep an eye on as things progress forward. But I do have a lot more quotes here, so bear with me again, but McCarthy added to that and said, all I could ask for is a fair opportunity, emphasizing his desire to compete for the starting role. That's the one thing I feel like everybody's given, and it's fundamental. McCarthy's statement clearly signals his intentions for the upcoming season, putting pressure on the Vikings to consider his place on the depth chart. With him healthy and eager to return, Minnesota faces a crucial decision about their quarterback room as they prepare for next season. And once again, McCarthy, he's pushing to play, and we saw this in the kind of reactions he's had last year, especially during his injury, that he was very bummed out when he knew that he was going to be out for the season. We expected him to really come in here, played very good in the preseason, that game that he had, and ultimately the decision was going to be very, very close between whether it was him or Sam Darnold, but ultimately at the end, it was Sam Darnold, really not by choice, but it worked out for the most part until it came down to the end of the season. But JJ McCarthy got a very good time to sit behind not just Sam Darnold and, not just Daniel Jones near the end of the season as well, but Kevin O'Connell for a whole season. And we've seen the benefits of having quarterbacks sit on the bench for, a season or two or even 3 in some instances and really come out of the gate firing. And I feel like the prime example that Vikings fans especially can think about is Jordan Love. We've seen him sit behind Rodgers for a few years, really come out and look where he is now, signing one of the biggest quarterback deals in the NFL and being a very, very solid quarterback for that team with a very young and frankly inexperienced wide receiver room to help him out with. So if we do look at this and kind of put that into perspective of what JJ McCarthy may be able to do, especially with, once again, not just Sam Darnold, not just Daniel Jones, but also Kevin O'Connell, who at the time of recording this video just won Coach of the Year, it really gives us a great opportunity. It gives McCarthy a great opportunity to really go out with that extra step forward heading into next season in this race for who is going to be the number one quarterback. But amidst this uncertainty, McCarthy addressed his financial complexities in the situation. So when money gets involved, things get complicated and reps get skewed. That's what McCarthy commented. There are things different than that that come into a whole political world that everyone talks about. He continued, I really just have to focus on controlling what I can control. My feelings don't matter. I'm not getting any grace. There's no sympathy. This is the big leagues. His remarks highlighted the business-like nature of the NFL and the understanding that personal feelings take a backseat to team decisions. Now, the way that McCarthy's really making this out to seem is that the team don't believe in him, and I think that's just kind of a mental thing that he's at yet, knowing that he really hasn't had the opportunity with what happened last year, and really is putting himself out there, kind of getting him in that mindset that, I need to be able to prove that I can play. This is not going to be given to me. Although I may be favorited right now, that don't mean anything when it comes down to how I play, comes down to the preseason, comes down to the offseason, who's available, what not. There's a whole instances you kind of mentioned here with the business-like nature of things that are going to come first before, the feelings and whatnot. And of course, the JJ McCarthy plan seems to be the one rolling ahead, especially with the way that this team is kind of scheming in the free agency side of things with $61 million. There would be quite a chunk of that going to really any other quarterback apart from JJ McCarthy, who is currently still going to be on that rookie deal for another few seasons, and that price will help him out significantly for the Vikings plan, but also help the Vikings significantly to help build around him. So the way that it's looking, still, of course, JJ McCarthy, but we don't want to count our chickens too early or count our eggs too early yet, just to be sure. But it certainly does, of course, seem like it, but we can't get ahead of ourselves. And appearing on the Rich Eisen show, JJ McCarthy said it's very fair to say he's ahead of schedule in his recovery from a torn meniscus suffered last summer. Couldn't be in a better spot, honestly, McCarthy said, mentally, physically, and spiritually. And this is how JJ McCarthy kind of concluded this whole discussion. That is a very, very good sign. And this is really what every Vikings fan has been at least hoping to hear, been hoping to see. And, we've had reports, we've heard it from other sources, but hearing it from JJ McCarthy himself and really kind of saying that, spiritually, physically, mentally, he couldn't be in a better spot. That's really what we want to hear, Having him come into this, you don't want to say that, there's really uncertainty. I don't know about how my play is going to become next year. JJ McCarthy is not that type of guy. He's the type of guy to really exude just confidence, not cockiness, but confidence into this and into this system and this team, and really show the league that he was the best quarterback available in that draft. And there's no doubt in my mind that he will certainly be in that classification next year after his first season with Kevin O'Connell. But as I mentioned, the price is another big thing, and that's also what McCarthy kind of touched on here in this situation, that, there's no really indication of what is going to be the business, what's going to be the, the feeling side of things. People are not going to care about that. This is a business, and teams are looking to make money, teams are looking to win, and teams are looking to be in the best financial situation they can. And when you're looking at JJ McCarthy's contract over the next few seasons, 3.9 this most recent season, although he was hurt. This upcoming season, 4.9, let's just call it 5. 5.9 the season after, so next year, and let's call it 6, and then finishing off with $7 million in 2027 before he gets his 5th-year option and then goes to a UFA. He has a very, very good contract to be able to help him out, as I mentioned, as well as the team, get these extra assets, whether it be an offensive line, whether it be a running back, whether it be an adding to the secondary to be able to get JJ McCarthy the ball in more situations, be able to get him, down the field. And the way that we're looking at this compared to what we're looking at here with Sam Darnold, whose current market value, according to SpotTrack, is $40 million annually. We know that it's time for JJ McCarthy to be really locked in here. Of course, we can see Sam Darnold potentially back with this team, although the way that things have looking, the way that, we're kind of feeling this $40 million compared to the $61 that the Vikings have right now, JJ McCarthy seems to be the move, and really seems to be trending to it as well, especially with his reactions to this whole the season, the offseason, how he's feeling, and what the plan is going forward. So I'm very happy JJ McCarthy came up with this on the Rich Eisen show, really voiced his opinion, not just that, but also voiced what he's feeling, voiced what, the side of the business is. And it really puts into perspective, too, from a fan standpoint, how this is going to affect him going forward and how this affect the Vikings going forward. So let me know what you think about JJ McCarthy, about the stuff he said here. What do you think that the plan is for him next season and the Vikings quarterback room? Still, so much uncertainty, even though it feels like we know exactly what's going to happen. You really never know nowadays in sports and these whole offseason moves. So let me know what you think. Do you think we're seeing McCarthy in there, yes or no? Let me know. But that's all I got in this video. If you did enjoy it, give it a like, hit the sub button as well. But I'm signing out. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.